My name is Seth Davis.
Okay. What is your current position?
I'm currently the assistant principal at Keokuk High School.
And what were you just before that?
I was a social studies teacher, football coach, and track coach.
Do you get treated differently from when you were a teacher now that you are an administrator?
Yeah, when you're a teacher, you can foster a little bit closer relationships with students. When you're a administrator, you kind of have to be the disciplinarian slash you have to run the school efficiently. You have to make sure kids get to their classes, and that's not always a fun job. That can be a job that takes away from the relationship piece a little bit, depending on how you do it. Hopefully I've not done a horrible job of that, but students definitely see me in a little bit of a different light. The students that I was closer to are a little bit more timid to talk to me sometimes, but then there's students that I wasn't able to talk to at all. They're a lot closer with me, so it's a balance.
How does it feel going from a more relaxed position teaching to a job that's more focused on discipline?
When I was teaching, it was more about the success of students. What can I do to get them more successful, have them be more successful? Now that I'm focusing on discipline and I'm sort of the dean of students in this position, this position's very tough because you don't get a lot of wins. You don't get a lot of positivity. I'm trying to change the look of this position so that I do get to focus on the kids that, right now I focus on the kids who miss a lot of days, but I don't focus on the kids who have 0 absences. I don't focus on the kids who are like that. So right now it's more about me, and, I'm trying to switch the position to where we do focus on the positives a little bit.
What is your favorite part of your current position?
Favorite part of my current position is that I actually get to see more students in the hallways. I get to see more students overall. When I was a teacher, I only got to see about around 100 students per day. In this position, I see like between 300 and 400 students per day. So, this position, I see a lot of kids, I see a lot of students, I'm able to learn more names, I'm able to interact with them in different ways, and so that's my favorite part of this position.
Why did you want to become an assistant principal?
I wanted to become an assistant principal because I felt like as a teacher, I was doing a lot, but I didn't necessarily have a big sphere of influence. I wasn't where I felt like I could make the most amount of change. And so I wanted to make the most amount of change. So I decided to, get my master's, move up, and, hopefully change this place for the better. This position, especially that deals with discipline, I wanted to focus on the students and who they were, not only in terms of their larger picture within the school, but who they are as individuals, as well as I saw the changes that the new admin was making here. I knew I wanted to be a part of it, and with the other admin being new as well, I knew that I could move into a role and we could work as a team and we could make this place, the greatest place in Lee County to go to school.
Do you miss anything from teaching?
Just the closeness with the students. You have such a closer knit relationships with students when you're teaching. When you're teaching them, it's more about what can I do for each. You're able to focus on individual needs so much more now. Like I said, I see more volumes of kids, but the relationships aren't as deep, and I do miss how deep those relationships were in a classroom.
What makes a good day at school?
A good day at school is when there's a lot of education going on. When I go around to rooms and I hear things and I hear students responding and I see them doing things with their hands, and when they're out of the hallways, when they aren't in the bathrooms, when they aren't at the vending machines, when they aren't going to get drinks all the time, when they want to be in the classroom, and when that happens and when they're engaged in classroom, you notice that the behaviors in my discipline part, it's not really needed because kids are engaged and they want to be here, and so they don't do things that put them on my radar. Instead, I'm able to focus more on the positives.
What's an issue you've realized is a lot bigger than you thought it was when you were a teacher?
One thing I'd say I realized is a bigger issue is just lack of kids being here, attendance. Truancies, tardies. I did not realize that there are some kids that rack up 200 tardies. I did not realize that there are some kids that, only come to school 50% of the semester. Like those are things that have got to change if we want this to be a great educational place.
In what way do you inspire teachers to be leaders and role models for students?
The biggest way you can inspire a teacher to be a leader is by building their capacity to lead, by having them understand how students see them, and by doing that through, like, we have speakers come in and speak to them about professional development. We have speakers come speak to them about engagement strategies for kids. And, we do this through a leadership system, really, where we have our admin, but we also have what we call a building leadership team. And so putting teachers on that we feel like are great leaders, and then that bleeds down, and then they can inspire other teachers as well to be leaders, and they can inspire students to be leaders. And so really it's like people think it's like a top-down approach, but really it's bottom-up. As an administrator, it's like, what can I do to serve you so that you can better do your job? And that's how I will always be as a leader or an administrator.
What is one thing you're hoping will change now that you're a vice principal?
One thing I'm hoping will change is sort of the culture here. I think over the course of the last couple of years, sometimes it's been very negative here, and we focus on the negatives. We focus on everything going wrong, but I think, the changes Mr. Harrison and Mrs. Roeder have brought here are just, we focus on so much more of the positives. We focus more on, like, who are the people that are going to state for athletics or for extracurricular activities like band, choir. We focus more on the great things that we do. A lot of people think it's cringy, but it's not. Mr. Harrison's whole, like, if you're a chief, you're a champion. Like, everybody that goes here should feel like a champion. And that's what I want to see change. I want to see a culture shift. I want us to love this place.
What's been the best experience you've had since becoming a vice principal?
The best experience I've had is some of those students already who, like, they kind of have that light bulb moment where they're like, there's a place here for me, or there's a place for my future. And whether they go to welding or whether they go to, next year we'll have agriculture FFA, whether they go to that class, like, these students, once you give them those classes, they will understand, like, there's a place here for me in this world and I fit in somewhere. And when they understand that, they can take that, the sky's the limit. But there's been a few moments where we've changed the schedule of some students, and then all of a sudden, like, the behaviors go away. They don't have, they're not always in the office anymore because all of a sudden they have a passion for their lives.
And that's it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me interview you.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.